We thought it would be fun today to invite you guys into training on the hook truck with Lamar. Lamar is our cable hoist driver. He's one of our senior drivers, and we're training him to operate our new the new hook truck. He's a cable hoist, and we're going to be training him on the hook. This is his first time operating the truck. He's literally only started a minute and a half ago, so we thought it would be fun to train you along with him. And this is just some basic training. This isn't by any stretch of the imagination a full training session. What it is it's just an introduction to how we're going to train Lamar on to operate the truck. So inside the cab is very simple. It has the same controls as we have out here. Inside the cab, you have a jib and you have the hoist. It's the same controls inside the truck as it is outside. The only difference is it doesn't have a PTO switch outside. The PTO switch is only inside the cab. And right now, we just basically backed up to the can. We're going to turn on the PTO, and we're going to raise the cable hoist. I keep saying cable hoist. I'm sorry. The hook truck. So go ahead, get in the cab, turn on the PTO, and let's show them how easy it is to basically extend the hook. And then as well, Lamar, I want you to back up to the can. Now, Lamar, the only thing he's done so far before we started shooting this video is he basically drove the truck for the first time today, and he's going to extend the hook to pick it up, and then he's going to latch right onto the can. And there's what's called a jib, and a jib in and a jib out. I'll explain that, but I want you guys to remember that phrase, jib in and jib out. And this cable truck, this hoist, only works in neutral. This transmission has a flywheel on the PTO. When you have a flywheel transmission, it only works in neutral. A lot of the bigger trucks, they'll work all the time. But in this case, with the smaller trucks, they only work in neutral. And if you do push the gas, yes, it does go faster. And he's going to be real ginger-like. He's a good driver. Lamar's an awesome driver. Okay. Hey, Lamar, don't forget, this is neutral only. Lift it up a little bit, and then you see how it's below the hook? Let me show you something. Come outside. I'm going to show Lamar something. There's two parts to the hook, and you guys may or may not be able to see it. But on top of the hook, there's so what you have to do is put it in neutral.
Okay.
And then see how it's hitting this part right here? You're too far back.
Okay.
You came too far back to the can. So what I want you to do is you don't even have to, just put it in neutral and let the brake off, and then lift it up, and then just go ahead in there and hit it on, put it in, make sure it's in neutral. Take the emergency brake off, okay, and that'll fix itself. When you're too far back, when you're that close, you'll still be able to get it. All right, perfect. Let's lift it onto the wheels. What you're doing is when you lift up the can with the cable hoist, the hook truck. I keep saying cable hoist today, don't I? The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that the brake is always off when you're lifting up the cable hoist. I'm going to adjust the camera here. Okay, Lamar. Now when you notice, as he was operating the truck, the brake was off. The reason the brake was off is you want the truck to be able to glide back under the can. It's less stress on the truck and there's less chances of damaging the driveway. So the first thing you're going to make sure when you're lifting on the can to the truck is that it's within the wheels. You got these rails right here, and you got one on the other side, obviously, and then you have two wheels. And you want to make sure those rails are within those wheels. Now this can could come on a 45-degree angle, it could come on a much greater angle than a cable hoist. The good thing about a hook truck is you don't have to be straight onto the can. You could come on pretty much at any angle, and then what you do is it'll, as soon as these rails hit the rollers, it'll straighten itself out. It'll correct itself. So that's the exciting part about a hook truck, is you could come in on an angle, or you could bring it in and kind of cantilever it into a parking spot. So go ahead, Lamar, and put it on a little bit more. I'll stand back. And as you notice, he's going to take it on slow. We did have that discussion. And their air controls are there. Okay. So at this point, Lamar, please put the emergency brake on. This is just, you can come out of the truck now. So the can is on the truck. Now there's a second part of this. There's a jib in and jib out. Okay. Now, right now the can is not locked on the truck. It's not locked on the truck. If you drove away right now, the can could fall off. Okay. And you're wondering, how does this become safe? Okay, so underneath the can, there's these two bars. Okay. There's two rails right here, and there's two locks. So as you pull this can forward, it's going to lock in, and the way you do that is you jib out. You can use the outside controls as long as the PTO's on. Get and jib out. Okay, just put. See that? See how it's pulling it forward? Now that's jibbing out. And that's going to lock it in. And then you're going to be able to pull it forward and just keep going until it stops. And that's it. So now the can's locked on, and you could transport the can to the dump. Okay. Now when you get to the dump, you're going to have to jib it out. We're not dumping this because there's equipment in it. Okay. But if you were taking this to the dump, you would jib it in, and then you would lift the can. Okay. And it's as easy as that. So you learned how to do a hook truck today. Okay. So it's really as simple as that. So what we'll do is, I'm gonna have you take the can back off. So go ahead and you could jib it in or jib it out from outside. It's up to you. If you wanna jib it in now outside, and then jib it in again. And so now we're gonna do the opposite. You're gonna show everyone how to take the can off. Now what I always do is, when I'm jibbing it in, Lamar, is I visually confirm that jib is up against.
Oh, the back. Okay, the stop,
right.
Like a stop. Okay.
Right. So when you know, it's like a telescope or what have you. You want to make sure that they're up against each other. Because sometimes I've had it where the cans are so heavy, you don't realize it, but it's not all the way in. Okay. And then if you notice the lock here, you only have about an inch or two. In this particular can, you have a little bit more play, but some cans, they weld these locks not very accurate, and then if that isn't all the way in, it could hit the lock.
No problem. Okay.
So go ahead and take it off, and take your brake off, and then take the truck off. Take that off the truck. You have your emergency brake off, Lamar? Yeah. Okay. Now just go ahead and keep the brake off and keep walking it off. Now if you notice, the wheels are coming off. The wheels are moving from underneath the truck. Notice the wheels. And you're just going to walk it right out from underneath, and that's the awesome part about a hook truck. And then you would, and that's it. You can leave it there, Lamar. There you go. Okay. Put it now. You can go ahead and put the hook back on, and don't forget your emergency brake. So just put the stow the hook away, Lamar. Lamar, yeah, go ahead, put it back on the truck. No, don't put it back, not the can, just put this. Now what I want you to do, Lamar, do me a favor, stop it there. Let me see if what I want you to do is, I want you to put the jib out the way it is now. Okay, what I'm gonna ask Lamar to do is, I wanna have him show you how far that jib, now see the jib right here? See how it's going out? That's jib and jib out and jib in. Pull forward more. And then keep going a little more. Now put the hook down. What I'm going to show you is how you can never pick up a can. I should even show, I wouldn't even want to know what would happen if you would try to pick up a can with the jib out. And I've, as you're learning, you all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Now, if you would try to pick up this can and the jib is extended, go ahead, put the jib all the way out. Put it out more. Is it all the way out? Is it all the way out? Okay, so it's all the way out. I couldn't tell. If you would try to pick this can up while that jib is extended, it's very weak because it's not in and doubled up. And then you could actually bend that jib and the jib would not retract properly into the to the larger part. So you never want to pick a can up with this jib's extended, ever. You'll break your truck, it's dangerous, you could hurt yourself. There's a multitude of things that could go wrong. I've all made mistakes, and it's unique to say the least when you try to put a can on with the jib extended. So you have to pay attention that your jib is always retracted when you're trying to pick it up. Go ahead and retract the jib. Notice the jib is retracting, and that's how you put your can back on your truck, or put the jib back into its correct location. Let me make sure that we're in on the frame here, and that's it. Okay, Lamar, that's it. Thank you. You can go ahead and shut the truck off. So that's how you operate a hook truck.
Okay.
So when you extend the jib, you want to stand over there a little bit. So when you extend the jib, there's lockers that come under here, and that's what keeps it on. Did you see what was going on there? You did, yeah, right.
Slid under,
right,
under the brackets.
Right, and that's really about it. This is a pretty capable piece of equipment when you know all the capabilities of it. It's unique in that there's a lot of things you could do with this truck that you can't do with a cable hoist. Okay. You don't have to be straight on. The only problem with this truck is versus a cable hoist is the capabilities. You can't. This is a 20,000 pound hoist versus 75,000 pounds. Okay. But besides that, it's an extremely capable piece of equipment and time saver. This one doesn't have a tarp, so you have to tarp this one by hand before you put it on. But besides that, it's a time saving piece of equipment. And that's about it. I'm going to stop the video.